Good morning. Welcome to the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration Small Business Industry Day virtual event. Thank you for your time and interest in working with NOAA. NOAA is open to partnering and working with small businesses. I want to say thank you to the presenters, NOAA's corporate and line offices, and Montgomery County for making this event a success. Now for an overview of the agenda. From 8:35 until 9:45 a.m., we will have opening remarks followed by presentations from the presenters who will provide an overview of their respective agencies and/or programs, followed by the Small Business Award presentation. There will be a 15-minute break before the matchmaking sessions begin from 9:45 to 10 a.m. There are 2 matchmaking sessions from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. I also want to say thank you to NOAA's large prime contractors for participating in the matchmaking session and providing small businesses with subcontracting opportunities. You may enter questions for each presenter as they present in the chat section of your screen. Presenters will respond to questions as time permits. All unanswered questions will be answered after the event directly to the person that proposed a question. Again, thank you for your interest in working with NOAA. Thank you.
And now, Gigi Godwin, President and CEO of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning and welcome. I am Gigi Godwin, President and CEO of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. Our mission is to accelerate your success, and we do that through programs like today's and through our advocacy. We're the chamber that brought you the Federal Small Business Runway Extension Act to provide each of you with a longer runway to success. And it's our chamber that continues to be a trusted source for the Congressional Small Business Committees looking for ways to help you succeed, which is why we're so excited to welcome all of you here today. It is extremely important to us. And before we begin, I ask that all of you join me in a big congratulations to NOAA on the occasion of its 50th anniversary. This is very exciting news and we're very proud of you. And please join me in thanking the leadership of NOAA for their continued commitment to supporting this event. And we have amazing presenters today, and I'd like to just read off who you will be hearing from today. Jeffrey Hale, Small Business Officer. Natalie Colbert, Small Business Officer, NOAA Acquisition and Grants Office. Barry Berkowitz, Senior Procurement Executive, U.S. Department of Commerce. Lucas Payne, Procurement Center Representative, U.S. Small Business Administration. Marcelle Loveday, Director, Policy and Oversight Division, NOAA Acquisition and Grants Office. Richard Fulton, Program Manager, NOAA SBIR Program. And Kelly Mabe, Deputy Director, NOAA Acquisition and Grants Office. And big event at the end, Small Business of the Year awardee, Bob Harford, Vice President, Business Intelligence Products, PotomacWave Consulting, Inc. We are thrilled to be working with NOAA again. This is our 3rd consecutive year, but it's our first ever virtual industry day, which has made possible our biggest industry day ever. Today, together, we are making history. By the numbers, we have 31 hosts, over 400 one-on-one matchmaking sessions, and over 600 attendees registered for today's event. The Chamber is proud that NOAA headquarters is in Montgomery County, Maryland. Did you know that we are the number two county in the whole nation for the number of federal contractors that are small businesses that do business with the federal government? And that's why we make programs like this and our advocacy a high priority. So let's turn to today's program. Because this event is virtual, many of you are able for the first time to attend regardless of where you're located in the country. What was once impossible is now possible. And today's program is built so that in one virtual place, you have the rare opportunity to meet with NOAA program officers, prime contractors, and network with potential partners. And in our new virtual world, it is even more important for us to help you make meaningful connections. Why? Because virtual or not, it's still a human environment. People still need to do business with the people they know and trust. And that's why today's program was built, to connect you with the great team at NOAA to help this very, very important agency meet its mission. Looking ahead, we invite all of you to join us for the Pathway to Growth Procurement Conference, a 4-day virtual event, Wednesday, August 5th, Thursday, August 6th, Wednesday, August 12th, Thursday, August 13th, and NOAA will be there too. We have attendees and exhibitors from at least 30 federal, state, and local government agencies. Go to our website today, register for the conference, matchmaking, and breakout sessions. And of course, there's plenty of opportunity for tickets and booths and sponsorships, and we hope that you'll join us for that. So let's begin today's program. And just a bit of housekeeping, just so you know, our chamber staff is at the ready and available to help you with today's event. And we encourage you to share your experience today. Tag us on social media at MCCCMD. We love to have you out there and amplifying your voice. And so with that, without further ado, it is now my distinct pleasure to introduce a dedicated public servant, thought leader, and very good friend to our nation's small business community, Senior Procurement Executive, U.S. Department of Commerce, Barry Berkowitz.
Well, thank you very much, Gigi. It's a pleasure to be here again for the third time, like you indicated. Of course, in the first virtual event, and I have to say that being an older guy, it's great to be part of this virtual world where it's all business from the waist up and party from the waist down. So in this virtual world, and so I'm glad to be able to participate with that. Also, it's a thrill and it's a great pleasure to be part of this where we have over 600 participants. I mean, that's an amazing milestone. And I want to again kind of reiterate the things that Gigi said about use this time to be able to network with fellow small businesses and with the large companies that are associated with NOAA, and also the ProTech program, which is the first of its kind that I'm aware of it in government, has been so successful in bringing small business on to the meeting our mission goals for the department. And also one of our major mission goals in the department in general is creating the economic environment for success and growth. And the only way to do that, and the most efficient way to do that, is to help small businesses in that arena. And partnering can still happen even if you're not one of the selected vendors on the ProTech vehicle. So you can still partner with other vendors or with one of the large vendors and be a major player in the ProTech contract. So I want to just make that little pitch there for everyone. The other thing is that there will be a new FAPS tool coming out next year, so that there'll be better information available for small businesses on the actual current opportunities at NOAA and how you can participate. So look for that on the NOAA AGO website. So I'm excited about seeing that. We're doing that across the department, so all of the bureaus will have this new tool available. So if you're interested, not just with NOAA, but with some of the other bureaus, it's available through their websites. And I just want to again thank everybody at the chamber, and especially Gigi, for putting this together. I know that the logistics is not easy. It took the poor chamber folks and their support contractors probably 3 hours to get me up and running. So I don't know what happened, but I'm going to put all the blame on being an old guy, even though I'm, kind of tech savvy. But in any event, I want to thank everybody for coming. Please use this event to the maximum extent possible. And the only good thing that's coming out of this event, besides all of the other good activities that are associated with being part of the NOAA mission, is that not having that immediate audience feedback that I normally get, you're saved from my bad jokes. So that's the good news, because I never prepare anything. It just what comes up when I have the interface with the audience. So that's the good news. You're saved. And but there might be something comes up later, and you just might hear me pop in with something really silly or stupid. But in any event, thank you again to Gigi and the chamber, and also to NOAA AGO line offices and all the work that they've been doing. And I look forward to the ultimate result here, which has been growing each year. And I have to say that the ultimate small business performance of the department has been sterling. We've gotten A+, I think, in the last 4 or 5 years. We're just doing a great job in helping connect small business with our mission requirements. And a big player in this is NOAA. So please enjoy today, take advantage of today, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. So thank you very much, Gigi and the chamber and NOAA, and I look forward to the continued success.
And now we will begin our presentations, starting with Lucas Payne, Procurement Center Representative, U.S. Small Business Administration.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, as they said, yes, my name is Luke Payne. I'm with the U.S. Small Business Administration. I'm a Procurement Center Representative, or PCR for short. So, I cover a lot of agencies, and what I'll be briefing today is a general overview of what I do and some of my, some of the people within my office and some of the things they do as well. So, next slide. So again, yes, I'm a PCR, Procurement Center Representative, an advocate, a resource, and today we'll be doing a briefing of some of the things that I do and some of the things that we can do for you within the, as a PCR and within the Small Business Administration as well. Next slide. So brief overview. The Office of Government Contracting, some of their missions and programs, some of my roles and responsibilities as a PCR, some of the resources and tools that PCRs use, and give you a general understanding when and how to contact a PCR. Next slide. So the SBA, Small Business Administration, is the only cabinet level federal agency fully dedicated to small business to provide counseling, capital, and contracting expertise as the nation's only go-to resource and voice for small businesses. Next slide. So how does the SBA provide contracting expertise? Well, we do it through the Office of Government Contracting. Next slide. So the Office of Government Contracting, our mission is to assist small businesses in obtaining fair share of federal government contracts, subcontracts, and property sales. As you can see by the slide, we're broken up into 6 different areas. We're located in Area 2, which kind of encompasses basically the Mid-Atlantic region. Not included here is of course SBA headquarters, which is located in Washington, D.C. Next slide. So within Office of Government Contracting, not including some of the individuals at headquarters, the field representatives, are basically 4 separate individuals. We have our size and status, which is our size specialist. We have the industry specialist, or our CUC specialist that handles the certificate of competency program. We have our commercial market representatives, which deal with subcontracting plans and helping out large businesses or other than small businesses perform their duties when it comes to giving small business maximum practical opportunities in the subcontracting arena. And of course, Procurement Center representatives. We're scattered through the U.S. Most of us are located at federal agencies at those buying activities, but some of us are located at the SBA district offices as well. And again, that's what I am. So I'll give you this general overview. Next slide. So what do we do? What is a PCR? What do they do? Well, we advocate on behalf of small businesses. So how do we do that? Well, we train federal agencies, which is really our primary role. We work with the small business specialist at federal agencies, contracting officers, contract specialists, program officers, program managers, everybody involved in the procurement or the acquisition process. Also provide training to resource partner staff and of course vendors as well. So resource partners, what is that? So SBA has resource partners, those would be like the chamber here. Other resource partners are the SCORE, small business development centers, the PTAC centers, procurement technical assistance centers, women's business centers, multiple resources out there to help you, and we partner with them to make sure small businesses have a voice at the table. What else do we do? Well, we mediate small business issues. So what kind of small business issues do you ask? If there's a show cause notice, if there's some kind of problem within the contract, we can help mediate those situations. If there's a payment issue, we can get involved and kind of be that middleman between a small business and the federal agency and really that contracting officer to try to do what's best for all parties involved. So as I said earlier, our primary role as a PCR is to work closely with contracting staff at the buying activities. And within all these bullet comments, probably the biggest thing we do is review acquisitions and solicitations prior to release. So we want to make sure that all the market research has been conducted and really have be that small business voice within the acquisition process to really make sure that small business can or cannot do a particular requirement. Next slide. Thanks. So yeah, here's some big things that we do. So we audit and advocate. How do we do that? Well, we assure small business are given fair consideration and opportunity in federal procurements. And how do we do that? We review small business coordination records. So what happens behind the scenes is the contracting staff, the agency staff, they put together an acquisition package, and that comes forward to PCRs within the SBA for review. Again, we're making sure that everything looks right, everything's been considered, and we also provide market research if we believe that additional market research is necessary. We inform. How do we do that? Well, we inform agencies of updated small business regulations and changes in the small business certification programs. We also do that for small businesses and resource partners as well. So we're here as a resource, and we do partner with a lot of even different units within the Small Business Administration, the district offices, and SBA headquarters program staff. So we provide counseling to not only the federal agencies and those contracting professionals and the small business professionals at the agency level, but also small businesses as well. We also provide counseling to large business or other than small businesses. Help them develop their subcontracting program, how to find small businesses in their industry. We assist, like I said earlier, we provide assistance to small businesses in order to, trying to gain that foothold within the, federal procurement system. We also assist agencies in meeting their small business goals, through training, counseling, assistance, and we participate in outreach events such as this. And then we review, and I've already touched on the acquisition piece of it, but we also review subcontracting plans prior to execution of a contract. Again, to make sure that all the criteria that's necessary within a formal subcontracting plan is there. But also make sure that small businesses are given a maximum practical opportunity in order to participate as a subcontractor within a particular action. Next slide. So our customers, here's just a general overview of all of our customers, and now I've touched on a lot of these. Federal buyers, those are those contracting officers, contract specialists, those program staff. Small business professionals, that's really the individual at each government agency that we work with the most. That's our main point of contact. And of course, they're located at the government agency as well. Small businesses. So we provide counseling and help mediate situations, as I've touched on before. SBA staff. Touched on this. SBA staff at headquarters, the program offices for specific programs, woman-owned small business program, 8A small business program, so on and so forth, and the district offices. There's 60-some district offices throughout the U.S. So we do partner with those to provide training and assistance if necessary, and again our resource partners. Our scores, women business centers, veteran business centers, so on and so forth. And one entity that's not on here is the large businesses or other than small businesses. Again, we provide some assistance. We provide counseling in order to make sure that their small business program, works in accordance with the law. Next slide. So some of the resources and tools, with the resource partners, we participate in outreach events such as this. There is a referral system. Sometimes a small business reaches out to me and they're not necessarily ready to have that conversation because I can go way more in depth with how the procurement system works. So we definitely refer them to one of our resource partners that we have. Technical training, federal procurement subjects, support SBIR and STTR. This is something new that has just recently changed. So PCRs are going to support the SBIR and STTR program. And of course, district office engagement in any way that we can help support. So federal buyers, what do we do there? So we have surveillance reviews. We do go in on occasion to particular agencies for compliance. Coming with a team, just again to make sure everybody's doing right. Not here to point fingers, but we want to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and make recommendations in order to do things better within the agency level. And then small businesses, public speaking events. We provide counseling to small business owners. We connect small businesses to procurement centers, and we also do recommend policy changes, either to the regulations or to the law itself. Next slide, please. So when do you contact a PCR? Well, a lot of these are really geared towards the federal agencies, those contract professionals. But as a small business or even a large business, reach out to a PCR, myself or one of my one of my other PCRs is scattered throughout the U.S. For small business events, counseling services that I've talked about earlier, small business utilization and disputes. And next slide. So how do you contact a PCR? So this is a snapshot of the SBA website, and I believe it's actually changed since this slide was made. The easiest thing to do is go to your favorite search engine, type in PCR directory or SBA PCR directory, and you'll find a web page with all the PCRs broken down into areas and the major buying activities that they cover and provide oversight for. Next slide. And here's my information, phone number, email address. If anybody has any questions or requires any assistance, feel free to reach out. Best thing to do is reach out to me by email. And at this point in time, we'll just go ahead and leave this up because next slide is just the SBA logo. So I believe we're taking questions if there are any.
Yes, we have a question. I believe Barbara Ash is going to read it out loud.
Well, one of the questions was about the presentation. I assume, Lucas, that we can provide this to the participants after today's.
Absolutely no problem. Yeah, you can provide this to whoever wants to see it.
Excellent, thank you. Some great information here.
Any other questions?
No, not. Do you see any others, Alexis?
It looks like you've answered some of them. Someone said that they're seeing more trends whereby agencies are disallowing subcontracting in both the resources sought and RFP stage. This is affecting small businesses and revenue streams who rely on subcontracting. Do we contact the agency PCR to address this issue?
So there's a couple routes you can go, and generally I recommend people to reach out to that small business specialist or that small business professional at the agency first. And if you're not getting anything from them, then yes, feel free to reach out to that PCR assigned to that location. I will point out and say the directory isn't all inclusive. Keep in mind there's over 3,000 federal buying activities across the U.S. And there's only about 45 PCRs. So there's if you know of an agency that you want to contact or want to know who that PCR is, and they're not identified on the directory, that same page, there's area directors, and you can reach out to that area director for that particular area and find out who that PCR is.
Another question here, Lucas, is are you providing support for all small businesses or just 8As as a PCR?
As a PCR, we provide support for any small business in any socioeconomic program. I know the district offices kind of focus on the 8As, but as far as what PCRs do, we provide assistance and counseling to any small business, regardless of socioeconomic program or even if they fall in a socioeconomic program.
That's
so,
great.
but keep in mind, this is the counseling part of that is really a secondary role because we primarily, and probably 80 to 90% of our time is taken up working with federal agencies, kind of that strategic level to make sure small businesses have that opportunities across the board. So just keep that in mind.
This is an interesting question. What is it like the day in the life of a PCR? And I think what I would tease out of that is like the percentage of work, how much time, is dedicated to each of the verticals that you mentioned in buckets of your different stakeholders.
Well, it's definitely the federal agencies and the review process of acquisitions definitely take up the bulk of my time, and that's probably that 70 to 80%. Just reviewing packages. Just throwing some numbers out here. Just FYI. We're making sure and seeing if we can actually flip a procurement from what the agency wants to do as a unrestricted, and we're looking at it to see if we can actually set that particular requirement aside, either for a general small business set aside or a socioeconomic set aside. So I've, within the past 2 years, and I've been a PCR for 2 years, something I didn't talk about, we're PCRs are contracting professionals. We all was a contracting officer, contract specialist, prior to taking these positions. We're all level 3 certified within either a DAWIA certification or FACT-C. So we speak the language of contracting personnel. So we're taking a look at that. Within the past 2 years since I've come online, I've been able to flip approximately $750 million worth of procurements from unrestricted to a small business or a socioeconomic type set aside. And when you put all the PCRs together, we do something around $4 to $5 billion worth of actions that gets switched from originally an unrestricted action to some type of set aside.
That's very impressive and quite helpful to know the impact that you're having in just a short period of time, in just a couple of years. So congratulations on that, and great to hear. Here's a question about an 8A firm that wants to do a JV with a large firm. What are some of the rules around that, aside from the Small Business Administration's Mentor Protege program for implementing? So how would they gain information about how to do that, or can you provide some guidance?
Well, if you're an 8A and you're within the 8A program, I'd recommend you reach out to your business opportunity specialist or your BOS that handles your portfolio at the district office. But in general, there's a program called the All Small Mentor Protege program, and that's kind of outside of my area of expertise. But generally, what happens, you can partner, you have an 8A or any socioeconomic program or just a general small business that can partner with a large business or other than small business, form a JV, and that can be seen as a small business or the all the certifications that protege has. So it's definitely a great program to get your foot in the door and to help out small businesses, kind of get a leg up on the competition, so to speak. There's current regulations that's kind of working through the process that the 8A mentor protege program and the all small, they're actually looking to combine those just to avoid a little bit of confusion, but they're essentially the same. So you have your small business mentor with a large business. When they combine as a JV, they're looked at as a small or anything that protege has. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're an 8A, please reach out to your business opportunity specialist.
Good guidance. Thank you. And last question. And should a small business build a relationship with their PCR, get to know them, share their capability statements?
You definitely can. Just speaking for myself, in touching on what we touched on earlier, my primary role is working with the with the agencies. And we only have so much time in a day, and there's only so many of us. So it makes it difficult. Definitely reach out. Request some counseling if need be. Try how to get your foot in the door. How to market what you do to prospective agencies. I will say this, just kind of a general. Kind of a pet peeve of mine, because I see it from time to time. Whenever you send out emails or make these phone calls out to me, to federal agencies, small business specialists, do your homework first. Definitely do your homework. Identify in that email or that phone call, what you can do. What you can do in order to help out that particular agency. Instead of just a general email that says, "Dear sir or madam, here's our capability statement," so on and so forth. That really doesn't go anywhere. So make it as personalized as possible. Do your homework, prior to reaching out.
Again, great guidance, and appreciate you sharing that with us. And thank you again for joining us today, Lucas.
Hey, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Marcelle Loveday, Director, Policy and Oversight Division, NOAA Acquisition and Grants Office.
Thank you so much. Hopefully you all can see me. Before I dive into some slides, I really wanted to take this opportunity to introduce myself again, so you know how I may be able to help you in the future. As I said, my name is Marcelle Loveday, and I'm the Director of the Policy and Oversight Division in the Acquisition and Grants Office at NOAA. I have been so fortunate to meet many of the companies on this call and the individuals participating in this event today throughout my tenure at NOAA. I came to AGO many years ago as the chief of the IT services branch, and some of you will know the work that we did as NOAA Link, or now NIMITS. And then I moved to be the chief of the professional and technical services branch, which, as its name suggests, oversees the ProTech program. And after that, I became the deputy and later director of our strategic sourcing acquisition division, under which both of those previous branches fell. And it was such a great journey through the types of services and the supplies that NOAA buys. And I really got to understand a great deal about the industries that are so critical to NOAA's mission success. And so why am I here with you today? As I moved to the Policy and Oversight Division, we executed another change at AGO, which was to wrap our small business office in with our other policy initiatives. And small business is such a complex field. There's a myriad of statute, regulation, and policy, as well as the outreach that goes on to make a successful office. And I'm really hopeful that the combination of a really strong policy foundation within my new division, as well as the experience with industry through my previous work at NOAA, will really enable me to be an asset to our already fantastic small business team that you probably know as Natalie, Colbert, and Jeff Hale. So now that I've introduced myself, I want to go over some numbers. So if we could go to the next slide. I will start out with one of those really fun tables where it's the numbers are really small, but we can provide these slides to you later, and a lot of this is public information as well. But I just kind of wanted to explain some of the numbers that we do provide publicly and why we measure things differently. You can see our small business performance for fiscal year 19, and we measure it different ways because we have in that first colorful column, we have all of the work that just NOAA awards. And you can see that we struggle a little bit from the DOC goals on our small business and our 8A and women-owned. And then we also measure all of the work that NOAA funding goes to. So that's also the work that other agencies award on our behalf. And that goes down a little bit because, as you see in the next column, we also award it by just excluding NASA. We do a lot of work with NASA in that they award things regarding satellite programs for us. And as you can imagine, a lot of that work goes to other than small business. So we measure this different ways so we can really get an idea of the work that we should be putting towards small business, understanding that a lot of the work that NASA awards on our behalf is going to go to other than small. So on the next slide, I really wanted to talk a little bit about our planning initiatives. And Mr. Berkowitz talked about FAPS, which will be replaced. But this is some data from our FAPS program from last year. And I wanted to just show it so that you have an idea of, the blue is what we plan for. When we go together in fiscal year 18 and we think about what we're going to do in the next year, this is what we're planning for. And then in the red is what we actually do. So you can kind of see how we do measured against what we thought we would do. And every single year, we always have these great ideas that we're going to award early and often, and the fourth quarter is going to be smooth and easy. And yet every year we end up doing about twice as much work as we planned in the fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, the dollars are about what we expected from the plan to the actual. And on the next slide, you can see what we think we'll be doing for fiscal year 20. Again, we're really optimistic that we're going to do all the work early in the year. But the overall amount is about approximately what we expected last year as well. And the reason that this is so important to you all and why we provide this to you, one, it's a requirement. It is our advanced acquisition planning system, but we want you to know what we're going to buy and when we're going to buy it. So, in a perfect world, you would have an understanding of when solicitations were going to be released, so you could pick the ones that are really, appropriate for your business type and then plan it accordingly, because we know if you get 10 solicitations that are good for you, you're all at once, you're going to have a different staff mix to be able to execute those. So every year we try to get more and more accurate for this, because it really affects your ability to propose back to NOAA and give us those quality proposals that are beneficial for everybody. So on the next slide, I really wanted to, we'll go into kind of who NOAA is and what we buy in a later presentation, but I wanted to bring it down to a tactical level. And so I assume you're all participating today because you want to do business with NOAA. And we want you to want to do business with NOAA. So we want to make it as easy as possible. So we've redone our external website, and a lot of you have used it in the past, so I wanted to kind of update you. And those of you who haven't used it, I wanted to kind of highlight some things that are hopefully really helpful to you. So these are just some links, but as Mr. Payne said, a lot of times you just want to go to your favorite search engine, type in NOAA AGO, things will pop up, and hopefully it will be relatively easy to walk through yourself. But some of the really important links are the small business website underneath the NOAA AGO, and that's the link there. As well as how to register to be an interested party to do business with NOAA. Of course, you can always do business with NOAA, but we really like to know who kind of is in our sector, because we do some unique work, and we want to be able to share some of your capability statements with our program offices so that they kind of understand the industry that can support their mission. So we really do encourage you to register as an interested party. And we also have a link to the NOAA forecast. And as Mr. Berkowitz stated, we are going to be replacing that system, and we'll update all of our links, so you'll have continued access to that information. So on the next slide, I just wanted to give you a couple of screenshots of our new website and then highlight kind of how to get to the information that you might need. So in red is that first, click that you want to do, and that will take you to our acquisition programs, because we also are the acquisition and grants office. So we have some information on grants too, if that was ever of interest to you. So if you can go to the next slide. About halfway down to that first link, you'll get another link to the small business page, because we do have information for all of our industry partners, not just small business, but we have a subsequent page just for small business. And we have frequently asked questions, we have resources. And if you go to the next slide, one of the things that really I think is kind of unique to our office is we have a link to a calendar, and this calendar will enable you to actually schedule a meeting with our small business office, just to kind of share what it is that you do, highlight some of your capabilities, and also learn a little bit about NOAA, because the more you know about NOAA, the better proposals that you can give to us, and I think that really benefits both parties. So we really encourage you to click on that link, play with the website a little bit, of course give us feedback if there's anything confusing or out of date. We really try to keep it up to date. But we think this is a really good tool just to kind of get you familiar with the NOAA environment. And so on the next slide, I just wanted to give you, Jeff Hale and Natalie Colbert's information. They are our small business officers. And we also have a Twitter account, which is super exciting. And what we do well is social media. So I really hope you follow that and you keep in contact with us, attend all of our events. We really appreciate your interest in doing business with NOAA. So I will turn it over in case we have any questions that I may answer.
Yes, we have a few. So that would be great. One of the questions, and I'm so glad to hear that you're focused on women-owned small business. and considering those for set aside. In particular, what are you doing to engage women-owned small businesses currently?
Absolutely. So for those of you who are familiar with our ProTech program, we've had an amazing success in the women-owned small business realm. We have a number of them on our satellites and our fisheries domain, and it's just been phenomenal, the capabilities that they've brought to the table and our ability to do a number of women-owned small business set-asides on that vehicle. It's been very impressive.
That's great. And then thank you. And that's great to hear. This is a question on subcontracting and small business participation and the evaluation process on and considering small business participation in the acquisition strategy. How do you look at that and going currently and perhaps going forward in consideration of small business participation?
Absolutely, and we really take that into consideration on a solicitation by solicitation basis. We don't have a policy that mandates it, but we do have some really successful cases of it. I mean, as I just said on the ProTech program, that was one of the elements under the management approach, small business participation, just because we really want to emphasize how important we find our small business partners, even when we do something that's unrestricted. But again, we don't have a whole-scale policy, but we do have a number of successful instances of it that we're happy to share with our contracting officers, just so that they understand how to execute those that particular element if they choose to use it.
That's great, great. And then of course, already you can imagine when's the on-ramp for ProTech?
So, you know, well, there's a potential on-ramp. There's always, you know, ProTech 2.0. It was a 5-year vehicle because it was the first time we did something of that nature. So, I mean, it's already been a number of years since we awarded our first domain. So we're really excited just to get, you know, off the ground on our ProTech 2.0. But it's been such a successful program. We're really quite proud of it.
So there is hope.
There is hope, but there's also a ProTech 2.0. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to kind of re-engage. It's not one of those 10 or 20-year vehicles that you see a lot of times where if you don't get in the door on the first chance, you know, it's a whole decade. This was a 5-year vehicle, so there'll actually be quite a fast turnaround before the second solicitation and opportunity comes out.
Well, it's great to hear that people are excited to get on board, right? You want to keep that interest on your mission. So thank you. And that's all the time we have for questions right now for our next presenter. Thank you so much for your work on this and your dedication to small business success.
Thank you. And next we have Richard Fulton, Program Manager, NOAA SBIR Program.
Hello, this is Rich Fulton. Can you hear me?
They cannot hear you yet. We need your camera on.
Yeah, the camera is on. There, I see the slides. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Just a second.
Okay, I see my slide there. Hopefully everyone sees that. This is, I'm Richard Fulton. I'm the SBIR Program Manager in NOAA in the Technology Partnerships Office located in Silver Spring, Maryland. SBIR stands for Small Business Innovation and Research. And I'll present here in this short presentation a high-level overview of what the program is all about. So next slide, please. All right, so let me start out just with a very high level look at NOAA itself. You'll see the website for NOAA in the upper left and the SBIR website there in the upper right. So you can check those out for more information on what NOAA does. Our mission is to understand and predict changes in climate, weather, oceans, and coasts. And also to conserve and manage coastal and marine ecosystems and resources, and to share that knowledge and information with others. So if you understand what NOAA's mission is, you'll have a better understanding of the type of research that we're looking to fund for small businesses here in NOAA. So next slide, please. So there are 9 NOAA mission areas that our agency addresses. They're shown there on the slide: weather, climate. Each of these boxes kind of represents one of our line offices, one of our organizational offices within NOAA. Weather mission area is obviously would be the National Weather Service, which I'm sure you've all heard of. Climate is that's actually resides in several of our line offices. Oceans and coasts is where the National Ocean Service is, and fisheries, the National Marine Fisheries Service. Satellites, this is the environmental satellites that we launched. That's NESDIS, National Environmental Satellite Data and Information Service. Research there in the right, that's where I'm located in the Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research, and that's also where the SBIR program is located. And then we also have the Marine and Aviation Operations, which that's the office that flies our airplanes that collect data and operates our ship and vessel fleet. And then there's the charting and sanctuaries portion of NOAA. So these are the mission areas, and these are the areas that we fund research in. So can we go to the next slide, please? So I just mentioned a little bit about NOAA there to kind of direct you, to give you an overview of what we do. But now let me give you kind of a high-level overview of the SBIR program. I'm assuming that maybe some of you don't know about it, so this will be sort of an introduction to that. So SBIR is approximately a $4 billion multi-agency federal government program. There are 11 federal agencies that participate, and this program is run and managed across the agencies by the Small Business Administration. So it is a competitive program that encourages American small businesses to engage with the federal government in developing innovative products and services that have potential for commercialization, while also supporting our agency mission. So next slide, please. These are the SBIR program goals to stimulate technological innovation, to meet federal research and development needs, to foster and encourage participation by socially and economically disadvantaged persons and businesses, and to increase private sector commercialization of these innovations as derived from these federal funds. Next slide, please. Okay, so who is eligible to participate? Well, you must be a small business, a company that is for-profit, U.S. owned and operated, and under 500 employees. The work must be done in the U.S., and the principal investigator must be employed by the company. And the focus here in SBIR is on performing cutting-edge, risky R&D that you may not be able to find funding for elsewhere. Yeah, and our focus is not on just purchasing equipment or commercializing a technology that you've already developed and are just looking for capital to advance forward. Next slide, please. So let me talk specifically now about NOAA's SBIR program. So we fund the development of innovative products and services that relate to our mission, as I mentioned in the first few slides. Commercial potential is required in these funded projects, and we do use the grant funding mechanism. Up until last year, NOAA used the contracts solely, and we decided to switch over to grants, and that's what we are funding going forward. So our program is relatively small, only $10 million per year, and that's based on the amount of research funding that NOAA gets per year. The large agencies are the Department of Defense and NIH. They probably take up about 3/4 of the $4 billion that I'd mentioned earlier. NOAA is definitely down among one of the smaller agencies in the SBIR program. And we do provide commercialization assistance to these small businesses once we fund them. Next slide, please. here's just a sample of some of the small businesses that we have funded over the past 2 years. So it's a variety of topics, and I'll get into a little bit more about some of the topics that we fund here in the next slide. So next slide, please. So last year, we released a request for proposal that included topics shown here in this list. So each year we release an RFP, and we call it a notice of funding opportunity since these are grants. And each one can vary a little bit from year to year in the types of projects and the focuses that we will fund each year. So this past year we funded aquaculture topics, recreational commercial fisheries, weather service improvement and evolution, next generation NOAA observing platforms, and next generation observation and modeling systems. So those were the focus areas over the past year for the projects that we're funding starting this year. So if you're interested in learning about the types of projects that we fund, just visit our website, and we have all of our past RFPs located there. You can check out the list of topics, and we also have a list of all of the projects that we've funded over the past 10 years, split out by year, that include abstracts and company information. So if you want to learn about the types of projects we fund, that's probably the best place to go to find that information. So next slide, please. So in 2020, NOAA has released some new science and technology research focus areas, and they're shown here on this slide. If you want more information on details of each of these, down at the bottom there's a web link where you can get strategic plans for each of these 4 focus areas. So if you're interested in these areas and submitting, say, a proposal in one of these areas, take a look at that. Unmanned systems is becoming, has become a big thing over the last, certainly at least 5 years. The aerial, terrestrial, marine vehicles. We're funding several projects right now related to that, and we normally get multiple proposals on that topic. Artificial intelligence. NOAA gathers a huge amount of environmental data every year, and so we use and are moving toward using artificial intelligence techniques to identify patterns in all of this data, and then also to use the patterns to help forecast the future. For example, the weather forecasts can be driven by artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques. So that is definitely a growing area. And then in the lower left there is the omics. Omics is a suite of revolutionary biological methods that we can use to analyze materials such as DNA, RNA, or proteins, and keep our water supply and seafood safe, and to make corals more stress resilient. So that is a growing field. And then in the lower right is the cloud computing. So these are the 4 areas that NOAA has identified as priority areas, and these will likely be areas that we will focus our upcoming request for proposals on, topics related to these. So next slide, please. NOAA has a 3-phase competitive grant process for SBIR phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 is kind of the concept development exploration phase. Phase 2 is the R&D and the development of the prototypes, and then phase 3 is what we call a commercialization phase. This is typical across all of the SBIR agencies. Our phase 1s are 6 months long, $150,000 maximum. Phase 2 is 2 years, $500,000. And then in phase 3, we provide no funding from NOAA. We expect you at that point to get your external funding. And there you can see how many awards. So it's a relatively small number, 25 awards, phase 1 awards per year. Typically we fund about 1 out of 4. Then it's 16 awards for phase 2 with about a 2/3 success rate. And there in the bottom, you can see it is a competitive process. So we send out these solicitations once a year, as I mentioned. And we receive your proposals, we evaluate them, and then we make the awards. And we do that for both phase 1 and phase 2. So next slide, please. And this is the schedule if you're interested in submitting a proposal to us. We expect to release the funding opportunity in mid-October of this year. We're currently formulating our research topics now. The proposals would be due January 8th, and then we do go through the evaluation phase and then make the awards in May with a June 2021 start. Next slide. So I did mention that we provide assistance to businesses, small businesses in their commercialization efforts, and this is available to all phase 2 awardees to foster their success in phase 3 and beyond. And the way we do this is we work with a third-party contractor who provides training and mentoring to the awardees, provides assistance in the development of commercialization strategies, and provides networking and industry connections. All right, I think I have one more slide. Next slide. Yes, this is the last slide. So there's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out and contact me if you have any questions, and you see our website there and our Twitter account. So that's all I have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's quite helpful. We have time really just for one question, and I've actually not. I think it's a great question. If you're a small business and have a SBIR phase 1 with another agency and can you apply for a NOAA SBIR phase 2?
No, the phase 1 has to be with NOAA in order to get a phase 2 NOAA award, because it has to be a follow-on to the NOAA phase 1 award.
Thank you. Very helpful. And then just real quickly, where are these opportunities posted? As to when will we hear about how are these bids, RFPs advertised for the SBIRs?
Well, all of our notices of funding opportunities are published on the federal website, the federalgrants.gov website. So https://grants.gov or something like that, which is the standard place where all agencies post grant opportunities. And we also will post notices on our own website that points you in the direction of the grants.gov website.
Great. Thank you again so much for your support and the importance of the research and including small businesses in the mission. Thank you so much, Richard.
Great, thank you. Our final presenter is Kelly Mabe, Deputy Director, NOAA Acquisition and Grants Office.
All right, can everybody hear me out there? Yes?
Not yet, just 1 second.
Okay. All right, yes? Can everybody hear me?
We're good to go.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Alexis. So good morning. It's great to be here to talk to everybody virtually. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Kelly Mabe. I'm the Deputy Director of the NOAA Acquisition and Grants Office. And I've been in the acquisition field for about 23 years, and the last 13 have been at NOAA. Similar to Marcelle, I've had the great fortunes of having worked in a variety of roles within NOAA, so I've come to learn, kind of the agency, of course, and all of you vendors out there, and come to know you quite well. And I became, as many of you know, the ADO Deputy Director in December of 2018. And prior to NOAA, I spent 10 years in the Department of Defense, having worked at Naval Air Systems Command and the Missile Defense Agency. So I'd like to first start off by thanking Gigi and the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, of course, for inviting us to speak again for the 3rd year in a row. We certainly value our great relationship with Gigi and the Chamber, and of course, all of our vendors attending today. This forum serves as really another great mechanism for NOAA to get in front of our industry partners and help forge those strong partnerships. My objective today is really simple. It's to highlight NOAA and AGO at a top level, kind of an introduction of sorts to get you prepared for today's opportunity to virtually meet with our line officers. And I'll say that, Richard, you did a nice job of highlighting some of the mission sets of NOAA. So I will run through some of those slides I had pretty quickly. All right, next slide. All right, NOAA is the largest of 12 bureaus in the Department of Commerce. And as one of those bureaus, we of course work closely with the department. And from an AGO perspective, we most directly work with Barry's shop, the Commerce's Office of Acquisition Management. We all heard Barry speak earlier, and as the senior procurement executive, my boss, Jeff Thomas, and I, and our collective AGO, really value our collaborative relationship with Barry and his group and the rest of the department, and also his deputy, Olivia Bradley, who many of you know worked for NOAA previously. Next slide. All right, this chart kind of denotes the key tenets of the Commerce Strategic Plan. NOAA fits in most notably through a few areas, and Richard kind of touched on this a little bit. Enhancing job creation by increasing our aquaculture productions and our fish stocks, reducing and streamlining regulations for our fishery service. And we also play an important part in strengthening the U.S. economy by conducting research and reducing extreme weather impacts. And as many of you have heard the phrase, we aim to be a weather-ready nation. Next slide, please. A little bit about NOAA. NOAA was established in 1970 by President Richard Nixon, who had a lot of interest in the environmental community. Now, at the time, there were many issues affecting our country and planet, so NOAA was created out of this environmental movement. And as many of you heard, my boss, our director, Jeff Thomas, at this event last year, who provided a great history lesson in NOAA. Our agency history can be traced back to the Geodetic Survey in 1807, and a couple other bureaus, the Weather Bureau in 1870 and the Bureau of Commercial Fisheries in 1871. Generally speaking, in terms of a budget, there's roughly a $6 billion budget, and of that, almost 60% is executed through contracting grants. All right, next slide. So I'm gonna take a break here for about a minute and a half, and as Gigi mentioned in her introduction, NOAA is very proud to be celebrating our 50-year anniversary. So our media group, our public affairs, has created a wonderful video, and I'd like to show this video real quick just to kind of get you jazzed up about NOAA. So Alexis, are you able to play that?
Yes, I'm getting it loaded up.
All right. You can't hear the sound, Alexis. No, maybe not.
Maybe one more try.
Okay, all right. Yes, still no sound, but that's okay.
Should I play it with the subtitles?
Yeah, that's okay. I think you really need the sound to kind of get the feel, and For those of you out there, we did get this to work during our dry run, so apologies for that. But we'll press on. If you get an opportunity, please go to our NOAA website. I believe you can find this video on our website. It's a really a great video, kind of highlighting our 50 years and some of the history of NOAA. So we'll go ahead and press on. Let's kind of jump into the next slide, if that's okay. So I want to talk real quickly about our NOAA org chart. And let's see, there we go. I'll wait for Alexis here. All right, real quickly, the middle box contains most of our political leadership. We're led by Dr. Neil Jacobs, who is our acting administrator, and he comes from private industry and really brings a different lens to solving issues within the agency. Ben Friedman is our Deputy Undersecretary for Operations, and on the upper top half right there, I know it's hard to see, are our staff offices, and ADO is one of those, and we're led by Jeff Thomas. And the bottom offices, or excuse me, the bottom blocks denote our line offices, and this is where our mission happens. And Richard kind of alluded to this earlier, and we can jump into the next slide there, Alexis. I'll kind of highlight these. I think Richard did a really nice job of going over some of these. As I mentioned, I'm not going to delve too deeply into any of these, but at least wanted to acquaint yourselves with them if you're not already. And our mission today really matches our roots from the beginning. It kind of evolved around science, service, and stewardship. We, want to understand climate, weather, and oceans. We want to share our data with others and to conserve our coast and marine resources. And next slide there, Alexis. All right. The next set of slides kind of get into the line offices. This slide represents the National Weather Service, who everyone is familiar with. The National Weather Service is building a weather-ready nation and aims to provide that best information available to the public to help save lives. Next slide. We have our NESDIS, or our NOAA Satellite and Information Service in short. And NESDIS manages our observing platforms with a real focus on data to help inform our meteorologists and monitor our planet. Next slide. Again, I know I'm going over this quickly, Darren. Our National Marine Fisheries Service, and our fisheries service is committed to taking a scientific approach to difficult, contentious issues of living marine resource management. Next slide. Our National Ocean Service, or National Ocean Service, helps provide data or information to help preserve our oceans and coastal communities. Next slide. Okay, we have our Office of Atmospheric Research, or we refer to it as OAR. And OAR is really looking at our cutting edge research and technology to help us prepare for the future. All right, and we have our next slide, I'm sorry, Alexis there. We have our office, we have OMAO, if you will, Office of Marine and Aviation Operations. And OMAO manages our fleet of aircraft and ships. We are also responsible for training our divers to safely facilitate Earth observation. Next slide. All right. We also have our marine sanctuaries, which is considered, as Jeff Thomas would say, a real treasure in our mission set. And they serve as a trustee for a network of underwater parks encompassing more than 600,000 square miles of water. Next slide. And as we all know, NOAA plays a critical role in understanding our climate. We invest a lot in our supercomputing capability and storing data to make it available for research. And to no surprise, there's a great increase in industry interest in this data. And the next slide here, this is our getting into the acquisition grants organization. We are led by our director, Jeff Thomas. And the middle section there represents some staff office functions, if you will, support to Jeff and I. Adam Bass serves as our chief of staff and also our division director of our staff services management division. Many of you know Raphael Roman, who serves as our ombudsman. You previously met Marcelle Loveday. Marcelle runs our policy and oversight division, and as she mentioned, Jeff Hale and Natalie Colbert fall into our policy shop. And I'd just like to reiterate what Marcelle said earlier. Both Jeff and Natalie do a tremendous job with our small business organization. There's 5 boxes in the bottom represent our operational division. This is where our grant and contracting activity happens. Our grants division is led by Arlene Simpson Porter, and as Arlene likes to say, she puts the G in ABO, and her office is located in Silver Spring. We have our strategic sourcing acquisition division led by Mike Conroy. He is also in Silver Spring, and as Marcelle mentioned earlier, this is where Protect sits, as well as some of our other strategic sourcing endeavors such as Minutes and NOAA Link. Mike also handles high performance computing needs. We have our satellite and information acquisition division led by Rafael Rivera. His offices are also in Silver Spring, and he handles contract actions for Nesbitt. And then our Eastern Acquisition Division and Western Acquisition Division share some similar clients. Generally speaking, Eastern handles actions east of the Mississippi for our fishery service, weather service, and ocean service. Eastern also handles actions for LMAO. And then Eastern is led by Melissa Sampson. Our Western Acquisition Division, led by Chad Peck, handles actions west of the Mississippi for fishery service, weather service, ocean, and also OAR. And Melissa has offices in Norfolk and Kansas City, and Chad has offices in Boulder and Seattle. Really, just like to take a quick moment to acknowledge our entire AGO staff. I think we're all dealing with difficult times here, and credit to our crew. They really haven't skipped a beat through these tough times with coronavirus, and really proud of the work that our leaders and entire staff are doing in AGO. And just wanted to kind of publicly acknowledge them. They're doing a terrific job. All right, the last couple of slides, let's get into some data. I know this particular slide is a little bit of an eye chart. It highlights our FY19 execution. The pie graph to the left shows our obligation by NAICS code, and I know this information is helpful for you all. It is on our website, as Marcelle mentioned earlier. What this pie graph is really telling us is that we buy a lot of IT and professional services. And in FY19, we executed nearly 19,000 transactions for $1.86 billion. And that 1.86 was a new high watermark for NOAA. Next slide. And our last data slide denotes our FY19 acquisition activity by client. Again, I know that pie graph is a little bit hard to read. What it's showing is the value of actions, and then the table on the right shows the raw data. You can see that fisheries and weather service executed the most actions, both near 5,000. But Nesbitt obligated the most dollars at 1.6. And I'm not going to read all the data here. We'll make these slides available to you so you can get a sense of what line officers are executing in terms of actions and dollars. So that concludes my presentation. I realize I went through it pretty quickly. I just wanted to give you a snapshot of NOAA and AGO. Again, as has been said many times in this particular event this morning, we are grateful, very grateful for our small business and entire vendor community. We would not be able to deliver our mission without you, and really hold you all in high regard and look forward to building more relationships in the future. Thank you. So do we want to take a few questions before I get into the Small Business of the Year Award, Alexis?
I think we want to roll through to the award. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do that. I'll roll through the award. So I apologize in advance. I'm going to read a little bit from the citation for our awardee. But let me jump right in. I'm proud to announce in this forum, that the recipient of our second annual Small Business of the Year Award. And at NOAA, again, we hold our small business community in very high regard. This particular award is in our second year. It recognizes small businesses who demonstrate outstanding performance, accomplishment, and a spirit of partnership in support of NOAA's mission. And AGO, of course, recognizes the important role that small businesses play in our mission success. For 2020, AGO proudly recognizes PotomacWave as the NOAA Small Business of the Year. PotomacWave supports AGO with automated quality reviews of its data entered into the SPDS NG system. They also provide many other capabilities, including competition analysis, which helps NOAA understand where it may have problems with metrics tracked by O&D and the Department of Commerce. Through support by this contract, NOAA received a virtually perfect SPDS NG data quality rating in FY19, 99.1. Very, very impressive. PotomacWave has exceeded all expectations under the contract and is always implementing new and exciting capabilities. So for that, I understand that Bob Harford from PotomacWave is on the line and is accepting on behalf of their company. As Gigi mentioned earlier, Bob is the Vice President of their Business Intelligence product. So Bob, I see you there and would like to congratulate you for receiving our Small Business of the Year award. Thank you very much for everything you do.
Thanks, Kelly. We're, of course, on behalf of the team, we're thrilled for this recognition. And the NOAA Small Business of the Year status went up on our email signatures a day or two after we were notified. So I just want to take literally about 1 minute by way of background, and Kelly, what you've touched on. NOAA's been using our Fed Data Check product for about 5 years. And for those interested in learning more about it, we have set up a website with some informational videos at feddatacheck.com. But what I believe will help other small businesses and prime contractors participating today is if I describe what our experience has been working with the NOAA acquisition staff. So it started 5 years ago. We rented a booth at a trade show at the DC Convention Center, and NOAA acquisition staff was also there during a break in the action. I walked over and introduced myself to Jeff Hale at their booth, and handed him a brochure, and he could have given us, okay, here's a website where we post our RFPs and RFQs, additional information like that, which is important. But he also showed an interest, and he asked questions, and he was very friendly. That conversation then led to an invitation to do a demo at NOAA's headquarters in Silver Spring. That led to a trial, and that led to an eventual award. A few years into it, I asked the staff what other counterparts at their sister agencies also might be interested in Fed Data Check. Again, I got an enthusiastic response, very personal. I got some points of contact. That led to a demo, a trial, and a subsequent award at NIST, as well as in-depth conversations at USPTO and Census. And one interesting story, I don't recommend this, and I do not do it anymore, but I did pick up the phone one time and I called a certain senior procurement executive. He politely listened to me, and then he explained how department-wide software decisions are made at Commerce. Okay, so what am I trying to say? What's the bottom line to my fellow contracting colleagues? You came to the right place today. The NOAA acquisition staff is glad to see you. They're happy to talk to you. They're enthusiastic. They want you to succeed. And if we do our part and show up and participate and offer great products and services, we're going to stay in great hands. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Good luck, everyone, today. And NOAA, thank you very much again for this great honor.
Bob, I'd like to thank you for those very, very kind words, and so very true, where we are open for business and we want to see our vendor and our small business community succeed. So again, congratulations, and thanks again for the kind words.
Okay, thank you.
And we'd like to add our congratulations to you as well. What a great way to bring our program to a close. Thank you all
for joining us today. If you were selected for matchmaking, follow the instructions that were provided to you by the Chambers team, Megan Foy, and let's just together say thank you so much to NOAA and SBA for incredible presentations today, and looking forward to seeing all of you on August 5th, 6th, 12th, and 13th at our procurement conference. So with that, good luck today, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.